Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to go into a deep dive of aquariums, and whether you're a beginner or you're experienced, this video is going to be perfect for you. We're going to go over some tips and some tricks to help keep your fish healthy and happy. Right here I have the first fish tank I ever set up, and as you can see it's going pretty well. It is a 20 gallon, and I would recommend either a 10 or 20 gallon for beginners. And as you can see, the plants are growing nice, the fish are swimming around a lot, and yeah, overall I think this is probably one of my favorite tanks, and I'm sure you guys can tell why. It's very filled in, very pretty. So are the fish. Fish are very pretty as well. They're very happy and healthy. I feed them twice a day most times, just whenever I get the chance. But that should be plenty for you guys, as long as you don't have a certain type of fish that needs a lot more for some reason. I also have shrimp in here, but they're very hard to find. Might be able to find a couple in here. If I see any throughout the video, I will definitely be sure to take a video of them. But they're somewhere in here. I have about 20 in here, along with like 5 fish, I think. I think that's the right number, but yeah. So for starting off, I would definitely recommend planting your plants or just your normal fake artificial stuff and leaving the tank full for about a week and a half, unless you use some Jumpstart, which is basically like a little fertilizer thing that you can put in your tank. And I would also buy a test kit, which I don't have one because obviously I don't need one for this tank. But I would buy those 2 things, and that should help you get kind of a jump start and kind of understand how to set up the tank. But I did have those. The fertilizer is actually in the soil. So you can see that as aqua soil. It's called Fluvial Stratum, and you can find it on Amazon and Petco and a lot of other places. And the plants I found on Amazon just like seeds, or at least most of them. That plant, I had a friend give me that plant. I bought on a different website. This plant right here I had a friend give me. And then the rocks, these 2 rocks were in my landscaping, the wood on Amazon. And I would always recommend putting a piece of copper in your tank. It helps like kind of neutralize algae and algae growth. And as you can see, this tank is pretty spotless with it. It also has a lot of snails in here, but I do think that copper is definitely a big difference. Kind of back to the feeding part, I would recommend 2 times a day, and kind of a pinch. And a rule of thumb is if it takes them more than 2 or 3 minutes to eat it, it's probably too much. And if you feed too much, it could cause bad water quality. As you can see, this is great water quality. You can see right through the tank, even in the densely planted areas. It could also promote algae growth, which is not always good. A little bit isn't bad, especially for your snails and shrimp, but a lot to where the water becomes foggy is definitely a bad sign. And it's not going to kill the fish, and it's not going to hurt the fish, but it's definitely going to be an unwanted sight. It could also cause the tank or whatever room you have the tank in to stink. But the actual plants kind of override that stinking, and they definitely help the tank to not smell. But the actual algae really doesn't help. But make sure to remember those things when you're feeding them, because feeding them too much could definitely have a bad outcome. The next thing we're going to go over is water changes and water maintenance. Right now I do need to add some water. I'm about 2 inches from that black line, and I actually don't have a filter or an aerator or anything in this tank, just because it's been running for about 6 months now, and once you've had a tank for that long, it really doesn't need any of those things. I'm not recommending not having one, but you definitely don't need one. But I would give it a 25% water change about every week and a half once you're at this stage. But in your first stages, I would give it about a week, about 5 days to 7 days, 25% water change. I also wouldn't let it evaporate too much just because it's kind of taking away room from the fish. And you can see the tops of those plants are kind of dying off because I've let it get quite low on me. But I will be sure to fill that up soon. But if you let it drop sometimes like this, it's not going to hurt the fish or anything, and the plants are going to grow right back. For fish recommendations, I would go with the big three, which are platies, mollies, and guppies. That's a guppy. That orange one's a platy. The rest are mollies. Pretty sure. No, the orange one's molly, and the others are platies. And then that guy's a guppy. But those are the big three, which are easy to keep, live bearers, and you can find them in every single pet store that you will ever go to. And if they're not there, they're probably just out of stock at the moment. But they're very pretty fish. And there's a lot of different breeds and designs that you can buy them with. I would say that they're my 3 top favorite fish for freshwater, although I do love angelfish and love cichlids. For easy to care for fish, these are definitely my top 3. There are definitely more fish that you can go with, but these 3 are the easiest to find. You'll be able to find them in every pet store and online if you want to. But I would definitely go with those 3 species. And there you guys go. Those are some essential tips that you're going to need for starting your first aquarium or just continuing in the hobby. But I would definitely recommend all that stuff, and I do it myself. And if you guys have any further questions or video ideas, let me know in the comments. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.